Imagine a time when America's love affair with the sandwich was booming. From lunch counters in bustling cities to roadside diners in small towns, sandwiches weren't just meals, they were experiences. Each had its own story, born from local ingredients, immigrant traditions, or pure creativity. But as the decades rolled on, many of these once beloved sandwiches quietly disappeared. Today, we're unwrapping the history of the 25 long-lost sandwiches that America forgot. Get ready for a journey through flavors, culture, and nostalgia. These are the sandwiches your grandparents may have loved, but you can hardly find today. 1. The Denver sandwich. We start with the Denver sandwich, also known as the Western sandwich, a cousin of the Denver omelet. This sandwich featured scrambled eggs mixed with onions, green peppers, and diced ham, served between slices of toasted bread. It was hearty, fast, and cheap, perfect for workers grabbing breakfast before a long day. Popular in the late 1800s and early 1900s, especially in the West, it fell out of favor as fast food chains standardized breakfast sandwiches. Still, for a moment in history, the Denver was the king of diner mornings. 2. The ham and pickle loaf sandwich. Strange as it may sound today, in mid-century America, you could buy ham and pickle loaf at the deli counter, a processed meat studded with bits of pickles. People would layer it between white bread with a smear of mustard or mayo. This sandwich was a childhood staple for many during the 1940s and 50s. As processed meats lost popularity and tastes shifted, the ham and pickle loaf vanished from lunchboxes. It's a quirky reminder of America's experimental post-war food culture. 3. The peanut butter, bacon, and onion sandwich. Yes, you heard that right. In the 1920s and 30s, cookbooks listed peanut butter paired with not only bacon, but thin slices of raw onion. This odd combination balanced salty, sweet, and sharp flavors in ways that seem unusual today. It was cheap, filling, and high in protein, qualities that made it valuable during the Great Depression. Though it disappeared from mainstream menus, adventurous eaters who recreate it are often surprised by how tasty it really is. 4. The hot brown. Born at the Brown Hotel in Louisville, Kentucky in the 1920s, the hot brown was a decadent, open-faced sandwich. Sliced turkey and bacon were piled on toast, smothered in Mornay sauce, and broiled until bubbly. It was indulgent, luxurious, and beloved by hotel guests. While you can still find versions in Kentucky outside of the state, the hot brown has become a rarity, an American treasure that deserves a comeback. 5. The olive and cream cheese sandwich. Once a Tea Party favorite in the early 1900s, the olive and cream cheese sandwich combined minced green olives with whipped cream cheese spread between delicate bread slices. It was elegant, simple, and surprisingly flavorful. Grandmothers across America made these for luncheons, bridal showers, and ladies' gatherings. But as culinary tastes shifted toward more robust flavors, this dainty sandwich faded into obscurity. The chop suey sandwich. Perhaps the strangest of them all, the chop suey sandwich was exactly what it sounds like. A scoop of American-style chop suey, meat, bean sprouts, celery, onions, and thick brown gravy, poured onto a hamburger bun. It was a staple at Chinese-American restaurants in Massachusetts and Maine throughout much of the 20th century. Messy, hearty, and cheap, it filled bellies but eventually disappeared as Chinese cuisine in America became more authentic and diverse. Transition. These first 6 sandwiches already show us how varied America's sandwich history truly was. From elegant tea time bites to wild experiments like chop suey on bread. But we're just getting started. In the next chapter, we'll explore sandwiches born from hardship, immigrant traditions, and regional pride. Recipes that tell us just as much about America's past as they do about its palate. 7. The Sloppy Joe's Cuban cousin, the Key West. Sloppy Joe. Most people know the modern Sloppy Joe. Ground beef simmered in tomato sauce and slapped on a bun. But before that, there was the original Key West version, born in the 1930s at Sloppy Joe's bar. This Cuban-inspired sandwich combined spicy picadillo beef with peppers, onions, and tangy sauce tucked into Cuban bread. Ernest Hemingway himself was a fan. Over time, the simpler canned sauce Sloppy Joe replaced its richer ancestor, leaving the Key West version almost forgotten outside of Florida. 8. The Egg and Olive Salad Sandwich. Simple, creamy, and packed with flavor, this sandwich was made by mixing chopped hard-boiled eggs with mayo and diced green olives. It became a Depression-era staple because eggs were cheap and filling. Served on soft white bread or dinner rolls, it was a quick lunch favorite. But as palates shifted and deli meats took over, egg and olive salad sandwiches faded from everyday menus. They survive mostly in dusty cookbooks and the memories of grandparents. 9. The Pineapple and Cheese Sandwich. One of the strangest relics of the mid-20th century was the pineapple and cheese sandwich, often made with canned pineapple rings and a slice of American cheese between white bread, sometimes toasted, sometimes not. This quirky combo emerged when canned pineapple became widely available in the 1920s and 30s, marketed as exotic and modern. While it delighted some, others found it bizarre. Eventually, it lost the popularity contest to more conventional pairings, but it remains a fascinating glimpse into America's adventurous food marketing days. 10. The Beef on Weck. Western New York once proudly claimed the beef on weck as its regional sandwich of fame. Thin-sliced roast beef served rare and juicy was piled high on a kummelweck roll, a Kaiser roll topped with caraway seeds and salt. It was a working-class classic, beloved for its bold flavors. Though still found in a few Buffalo area restaurants, outside the region it has nearly disappeared. For much of America, this is a sandwich they never even knew existed. 11. The mock chicken sandwich. During lean times, many households couldn't afford real chicken. Enter the mock chicken sandwich, a spread made from crushed saltine crackers, eggs, onions, and sometimes a touch of milk or mayo to bind it together. Seasoned well, it was surprisingly tasty and mimicked the texture of shredded chicken. This Depression-era invention kept families fed when meat was scarce. While almost no one eats it today, it's a reminder of how resourceful home cooks once had to be. 12. The Sardine and Mustard Sandwich. Cheap, pungent, and packed with protein, sardines were once a pantry staple. People mashed them with mustard and spread them onto rye or wheat bread for a quick lunch. In the early 20th century, sardines were common in American diets. But as tastes shifted and fresh meat became more available, sardine sandwiches fell out of favor. Today they're rare, but for some old-timers, they're a nostalgic bite of childhood. Transition. We've seen sandwiches born of necessity, sandwiches of regional pride, and even sandwiches built from marketing gimmicks. But the forgotten sandwich story doesn't end here. In the next batch, we'll dive into recipes with bold ethnic roots, carnival favorites, and sandwiches that once defined local identities but have nearly vanished from the American table. 13. The bologna and apple sandwich. Once upon a time, bologna wasn't just the inexpensive lunch meat kids dreaded. It was a foundation for creative pairings. One lost classic was the bologna and apple sandwich. Thin slices of crisp apple were layered with bologna, and sometimes a touch of mustard. The sweetness of the fruit balanced the salty meat perfectly. This sandwich thrived in rural lunchboxes during the 1940s and 50s, but as school cafeterias standardized menus, it slipped into obscurity. 14. The clam roll sandwich. A coastal New England treasure, the clam roll was essentially fried clams stuffed into a buttered hot dog bun with lettuce and tartar sauce. Served at seaside stands and summer fairs, it was the taste of ocean vacations. Though you can still find it at a few mom-and-pop shacks in Maine and Massachusetts, it never expanded nationally. As lobster rolls rose in fame, clam rolls quietly faded away, leaving only memories for locals who grew up eating them. 15. The deviled ham sandwich. Canned deviled ham, most famously sold in small paper-wrapped tins by Underwood, was once a pantry staple. People mixed it with mustard or mayo and spread it on white bread for a spicy, tangy sandwich. This was especially popular in the mid-20th century when convenience foods ruled the kitchen. But as fresh deli meats became more accessible and tastes shifted away from canned products, deviled ham sandwiches nearly disappeared, though the little red Underwood devil mascot still lingers in old advertisements. 16. The peanut butter and tomato sandwich. Yes, it sounds strange, but this was once a summertime favorite in the South. Creamy peanut butter spread thick on soft bread, topped with slices of ripe garden tomatoes and a sprinkle of salt. The combination of nutty richness and juicy acidity was surprisingly satisfying. Farmers and families swore by it during harvest season, but as peanut butter became more associated with jelly, the peanut butter and tomato sandwich faded into the shadows of forgotten food lore. 17. The tamale sandwich. In the Midwest, particularly Illinois, the tamale sandwich was a carnival and diner oddity. A hot tamale, masa and spiced meat wrapped in corn husk, was unwrapped and smashed between slices of bread or a bun, often topped with chili. It was messy, filling, and cheap. While it might sound like carb overload today, at the time it was a working man's meal. Sadly, as tamales became more available in their original form, the tamale sandwich faded into obscurity. 18. The roast pork Italian sandwich. Before the Philly cheesesteak reigned supreme, Philadelphia was in love with the roast pork Italian. Juicy roasted pork, sharp provolone, and garlicky sautéed broccoli rabe were tucked into a crusty roll. This was a hearty immigrant creation, deeply tied to Italian-American culture. Though you can still hunt it down at specialty shops in Philly, outside the city it never caught on, leaving much of America unaware of this incredible regional gem. Transition. From peanut butter paired with tomatoes to clams in a bun, these sandwiches reveal how inventive, and sometimes downright quirky, American tastes once were. But the story keeps going. In our next chapter, we'll rediscover sandwiches born in soda fountains, state fairs, and even early road trip diners. Some may sound bizarre, others downright delicious, but all of them carry a piece of America's culinary past. 19. The fried brain sandwich. Yes, you heard that right. Once a delicacy in the Midwest, especially in St. Louis, Missouri, the fried brain sandwich was made from thin slices of calf's brain, battered, fried, and tucked into a bun with onions and pickles. This unusual dish was brought by German immigrants in the 19th century and became a tavern staple. It was rich, creamy, and unlike anything else. But as health concerns about mad cow disease rose in the 1990s, the fried brain sandwich all but disappeared from menus, leaving behind only whispers of its once popular status. 20. The cucumber tea sandwich. A nod to America's Victorian heritage, the cucumber tea sandwich was a simple, refreshing bite. Thinly sliced cucumbers layered on buttered bread, sometimes sprinkled with herbs. In the early 1900s, these sandwiches were associated with elegance, served at garden parties and bridal showers. But as heavier, heartier sandwiches became the norm in America's lunch culture, the dainty cucumber tea sandwich drifted into the background, surviving only in upscale tea rooms. 21. The ham and banana sandwich. Elvis Presley style, the king of rock and roll may be remembered for his peanut butter, banana, and bacon sandwich, but another oddity floated through mid-20th century kitchens, the ham and banana sandwich. Recipes called for smearing mustard on white bread, layering banana slices with baked ham, and baking the whole thing until warm. It was promoted as a nutritious post-war family meal, though it never quite stuck around. Today, it survives mostly as a bizarre footnote in America's sandwich experiments. 22. The pepper and egg sandwich. An Italian-American classic from Chicago, the pepper and egg sandwich was once a Lenten favorite when meat was avoided. Fluffy scrambled eggs were tossed with sautéed bell peppers and tucked into crusty bread. In the 1950s and 60s, it was sold in corner delis and street carts. But as dining habits shifted and younger generations moved away from meatless traditions, the pepper and egg sandwich nearly vanished. It's still found in select Chicago spots, but for most of America, it's an unknown treasure. The open-faced turkey Devonshire. Created in Pittsburgh in the 1930s, the turkey Devonshire was an open-faced sandwich made with turkey, bacon, tomato, and a rich cheese sauce, broiled until golden. It was decadent, comforting, and unique to the region, often served in diners and clubs. But as chain restaurants expanded and menus standardized, the turkey Devonshire lost ground. Now it's a rare find, remembered only by those who grew up in western Pennsylvania. 24. The peanut butter and mayonnaise sandwich. Few sandwiches spark as much debate as this one. In the South during the Depression, peanut butter and mayonnaise on white bread was a popular, protein-packed, affordable meal. Some families added bananas or lettuce for extra texture. For those who grew up with it, the combination was nostalgic and comforting. But for outsiders, it sounds shocking. As times changed and mayonnaise lost its role as a catch-all spread, this once beloved sandwich became a quirky relic of hard times. Transition. From fried brains in taverns to mayonnaise paired with peanut butter, these sandwiches prove that American food culture has always been fearless, resourceful, and experimental. But we're not done yet. In our final batch, we'll unveil the last of these forgotten sandwiches, including one so iconic it deserves to be remembered above all the rest. 25. The poor man's sandwich, bread and onion. We close with one of the humblest yet most telling sandwiches of all, the bread and onion sandwich. During the Great Depression, when money was scarce and refrigerators were rare, many families relied on whatever they had on hand. A slice of bread, a bit of lard or butter if available, and raw onion rings pressed between two slices became a working man's lunch. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't indulgent, but it kept people going, and it embodied the resilience of ordinary Americans during hard times. Though it has nearly vanished from memory, It stands as a symbol of survival and the ingenuity of turning the simplest ingredients into sustenance. Grand closing, cinematic wrap-up. As we've journeyed through these 25 long-lost sandwiches America forgot, a picture emerges, not just of food but of history. Each sandwich tells a story. The hot browns and a turkey Devonshire spoke of hotel dining and indulgence. The mock chickens and a Poorman-esque sandwich reflected hardship and resourcefulness. The roast pork Italians and beef on weck showcased immigrant traditions and local pride. And the stranger creations, the peanut butter and onion, the ham and banana, the chop suey sandwich, revealed just how boldly experimental American kitchens once were. These sandwiches may have disappeared from menus, but their legacies live on in cookbooks, memories, and the kitchens of those curious enough to bring them back. Each bite, if recreated today, is like stepping into a time machine, tasting what your grandparents or great-grandparents once enjoyed, laughed about, or relied on for survival. Food, after all, isn't just about flavor, it's about people, about culture, about a nation constantly reinventing itself through its meals. And sandwiches, portable, customizable, endlessly adaptable, captured America's journey better than perhaps any other dish. So maybe it's time we bring a few of these forgotten recipes back. Imagine biting into a crispy clam roll at the beach again, or surprising your taste buds with peanut butter and tomato on a summer afternoon. Who knows? Maybe the next great food trend is hiding in America's past, waiting for someone to rediscover it. Final hook, call to action. Which of these lost sandwiches would you try first? The elegant olive and cream cheese tea sandwich? The hearty roast pork Italian? Or maybe even the daring peanut butter and mayonnaise? Share your thoughts below. And if you enjoyed this trip down culinary memory lane, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us as we uncover more of the flavors that shaped the America we remember. Because sometimes, the best recipes aren't new. They're the ones we've almost forgotten. Fade out. Cinematic music swells.